Hi ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Genshin Impact. I am GRINN, and welcome to a very privileged Ayaka showcase gifted onto us by one of the fantastic people within our community called Lonesyndicate. Shout out to you, my friend, thank you so much. For those of you guys who do not know, Lonesyndicate is on the pursuit to get every single waifu in Genshin, which is a insane feat, and an honorable one maybe at that. But alas, he's given me the gameplay to actually showcase Ayaka to some extent, or at least his beautiful, wonderful, spectacular Ayaka. Although forgive me, it is in 720p because it's hard to share data over online at this point. But regardless, his Ayaka is pretty damn built. Of course, we're cycling through and showing you guys this is Constellation 0 Ayaka with basically C6 talents, or sorry, tier 6 talents across the board within a legendary 5-star weapon, which is awesome. And again, pretty decent artifacts, all that good stuff. So this is about what I think light spenders would maybe be able to experience, maybe outside of the 5-star weapon, but at least the artifacts, you could eventually get really good ones. And I believe Lonesyndicate's artifacts are pretty good, maybe like 80% of what maybe, or maybe 60 or 70% of what is possible. But ladies and gentlemen, alas, I want to talk your ear off about Ayaka, and you also use some of this gameplay, and also thank Lonesyndicate for doing this very sweet thing for me, and actually sending over the gameplay. Anywho, we're going to talk about general things with Ayaka, because we already made the practice run video, and I'm sure you guys have already got beaten over the head with Ayaka gameplay as of late, because I know it's been everywhere. But Yuimi is right along the horizon, so hopefully that'll be the new thing recently. But I also wanted to talk you guys ear off about Ayaka, because I've had a lot of kind of thoughts, and I want to know if you guys feel the same way. But alas, again, I want to talk about the general things that maybe some of you guys, or that I didn't get to say in the practice run. Well, the good news is that a lot of Ayaka's skills actually didn't change from the previous rumors, we'll say. So she kind of ended up being what we thought she was going to be, with the exception of, I think, like around the last month, they tweaked her final skill, her final C6 constellation, which I feel like most people shouldn't even look at, but I digress. So something that blew me away the first week of her release was people saying that she was a support character, and if you see her abilities, you're like, what? What are you talking about? And she is, in a way, but it seems a little forced, but it's not the case, if that makes any sense, which it doesn't. But this is where we're going to talk about probably towards the end of the video. It's the weirdness of Ayaka. But generally speaking, yes, Ayaka can pack one hell of a punch, especially with her ult, and that is of course one of the things that I wasn't 100% if that was going to be the case. I knew it was going to be strong, but I was also worried that it was going to be strong. The reason why is because regardless of how much damage that thing deals, it's still on a pretty hefty cooldown with a lot of energy required to fuel it. And that was my worry, because when something is really strong, oftentimes this is what balance was supposed to be until Ganyu got introduced into the game, and now it seems like it's back at what it usually meant, but balance is keeping things in harmony, balanced out. So if her ult is really strong, and her main attack is really strong, and she also can do some weird support things, this is just a lot. And Ganyu is like, no, it's not, and we're all so happy about that. Well, people who have her probably are thrilled. But anyways, again, Ayaka's ult is incredible. Ayaka's E is a pretty nice boost of damage, but like I said, and like I was afraid of, her cooldowns are the thing that to me make me just gas out when I see gameplay of her. Like the fact that you use your E and you're just waiting there for it seems like a long time, too long for me personally. And also the in-between, that's why I wanted to kind of talk to you guys about that. And this is how I kind of feel about characters as of now, and I want to know if you guys are the same way. But Ayaka very much feels like a character that the in-between is a little odd. Like, I'm not sure if you guys are seeing the gameplay right now, hopefully you are, but her basic attack damage is anywhere from like 7 to maybe 10 to 12 on her basic attack. But yet her ult hits like a truck, because it hits like 1,000 times, and of course her E hits for 24,000. But that's her E that's on a huge cooldown, so you can't exactly spam that. And her basic attack hits really fast, but it's still only like 4,000 damage. So even if you're hitting 2 of those really quickly, you're only doing 8,000 damage. And yeah, and mind you, this is a person with a 5-star weapon, that should help a great deal. And also, this is not like Ayaka at her absolute peak, so yes, she can go further, but that's not what I'm talking about. It's not the fact, even if her basic attack was dealing like 12k. You would still run into the other problem that I'm seeing a lot when I see Ayaka gameplay, which is you're a tiny girl with a tiny sword. So when you go to do melee attacks, and this is something I think just Mihoyo needs to do better at somehow, but most of the time enemies will push you away and you're not even able to hit them because their hitbox is bigger than they are themselves. So a character with tiny arms, a tiny weapon, tiny little sword cannot reach them, which is why it seems like Genshin is constantly going down the route of anyone who has like auto-locking damage attacks that can be fired at range, i.e. casters and archers seem to be becoming even more prevalent and valuable, just because you're always able to guarantee your hit, and it doesn't seem like just because you're ranged you can do less damage. Case in point, Ganyu and hopefully Hutao. Or sorry, hopefully Yui Mia, sorry, not Hutao. But yeah, man, I think it's this is all nonsense, but I think Ayaka's ult took a little bit of her basic attack's damage away. Because boy, oh boy, man, like I was really hoping her basic attack would just cut through shit. But instead, it kind of just seems like you're just waiting. You're just waiting to get to that ult. That's what you're doing. It seems a little rough, but then the ult has a huge cooldown and also has a lot of energy required. So you're kind of it just seems like it's not that Ayaka to me seems spread thin. It's that she seems like chunky, like clunk, like not like as if you're spreading butter and it's all clumped up because it's cold or whatever the hell. Or I got caught in the bread. Yeah, because there's certain things where it's like, okay, well then if she was supposed to use her ult and supplement her damage by using her basic attack and just reapply cryo and kind of be a weird cryo consistent support character, well, even though that doesn't really make sense because there's no way to apply consistent pyro besides Shangling, which I guess is also working and quite good. Why does her ult have such a long cooldown if that was what she was meant to be, of like supplementing your just consistent cryo output to like constantly be the thing that's applying the cryo and then having some sort of random other fire person detonate it? Why have her ult have such a long cooldown and have such a massive energy cost? By the way, guys, I think she's great. I think visually she's interesting. I do think people give her a lot of shit for her quintupled forehead. But all things considered, I do think Ayaka seems like a ton of fun. And if you did happen to get her because you were waiting for her, you were waiting to get a female DPS, because you're just wanting to, look at something that you enjoy and actually progress in Genshin and not look at your shitty Kaya weird simp person, I get it. And also, by no means is she not bad. It's just, to me, I keep kind of battling in my head because to me I don't know what else to make a video of, to be honest. Everyone's already made a video at this point. That's mostly on me because I'm just been having a bad week in terms of efficiency and making sure that I'm getting stuff done, so forgive me for that. But I'm trying to come up with the only other video I think I can make, which is kind of a little bit too much personal probably. No one really cares probably, but I thought I'd let you guys know about it anyway and see if anyone else is feeling the same way. But to me, when I see Ayaka's gameplay, I think, okay, like you guys have as much fun as you possibly can, because to me I don't feel like I'm missing anything, And it's not to say that I wouldn't she wouldn't be a fun character to play. Like when I'm seeing gameplay of Lone Syndicate here putting around in the ground, that seems pretty fun. Although I would admit the dash, the movement ability does seem like it would be something to get used to, which I think most people wouldn't have that patience. But I think if you did, it would become really fun, and you would just putt around and use her as like a weird Energizer bunny to get to and from enemies. But no, I definitely think she's a strong character, and by no means am I saying that she's not as strong. But with what I am kind of, and maybe I should stop doing this, but like I always compare my DPS, which is my Razor, or maybe Eula before her, or anyone like that, to try to come up with more like, okay, well these are the damage numbers that these people are able to attain, i.e. Eula's. And even when I'm seeing these gameplay which is fun looking, like there's tons of effects happening, and who knows, maybe they'll release a crazy fire output support character that's kind of like Shangling except scales harder, and then Ayaka will just become the most busted thing on the planet. But as of right now, she's really good, really good. But I don't know, man. I can't really I don't know. I feel like a little offset. Also, my god, Lone Syndicate, you give me anxiety. You have fucking 158 resin. How dare you? How dare you do this? God, that's horrific seeing that. Go condense it or something, shit. But yeah, I hope you guys know when I say like Ayaka I don't think is bad, by no means. But to me, I kind of try to think about why do I feel the way I feel when I see the gameplay that I see. And again, I think it's just preference, to be honest. And I kind of mentioned this beforehand, but I really like characters that have a good middle play time. So any character that has like the predominant amount of thing that you're going to be doing when fighting is throwing your basic attack around, unless you have some sort of weird ability spam thing. But at least for right now, that's the basis of every character. So if you're playing like an In Wong, when you're doing your basic attack, you feel like you're doing more because you're building rock charges. When you're playing Yanfei, you're building charges. When you're playing Razor, not only is your basic attack just doing a lot, because that's kind of the way you built him, but also you're using your E and generating particles constantly. With each slash of your Razor, you're getting more and more energy and being able to back-to-back this ult even more, and kind of bulldoze in a way. Then you just start smashing and doing your basic attack and your little bit of your E sprinkled in between, and you start feeling like everything is compound and stacking on top of each other. Rather than, and this is what we kind of always knew about Ayaka to some extent, is that her ult was always a big part of who she was. But we also got news that they recalibrated her ult, so we were like, and it's really just a different animation, but it's the same idea of. But also, if it is the same idea, why is her cooldown so hefty? Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of us would have probably rathered scaling her damage just a little bit back and giving you a lower cooldown and lower energy recharge cost. Although some of you guys don't really have a problem with generating it, but it genuinely seems like to me, again, Ayaka is you're playing and you're waiting for her ult. Whereas all the other characters I mentioned don't necessarily feel that way. It's like whilst playing, you feel like you are still jungling and managing a couple of things to leverage that in your advantage. And yeah, it just seems like a lot of times you're like E, and then spam, and then use your ult when you have it. Except the ult is, I think, a lot more of where your massive damage melting happens. So I think you're probably waiting for other characters to have their ults and then using them in sequence and then ripping apart the world in that way. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to talk your ear off too much, especially considering you guys got beaten over the head with Ayaka gameplay. I want to say thank you so much to Lonesyndicate. I'm so sorry this took such a long time to upload, and I wish I would have done more with it. I wish I would have done more with the gameplay that you gave me, even though it's a little 720p-ish. It's fine. Again, the opportunity to see this girl in action fighting on my screen is awesome to see, especially considering I'm able to like see. I don't know, to me this is just cathartic, because this is, like, we're seeing Ayaka pretty well invested. Not crazy. Again, she can still go another 4 or 5 talent level ups, right? That's huge. Also, she can get better crit damage and crit rate scaling, sure. But at least right here, if you see her gameplay of, you know, darting into the ground and then doing basic attacks, and that doesn't float your boat, then I'm pretty sure you're kind of going to be like, oh, all right, well, listen, all right. You know, it's either like, oh, no, I need her, or, no, I'm okay. Actually, I'm happy with my insert whoever, Eula, etc. But I digress. Thank you so much, Yule. Thank you so much, Lonesyndicate. I appreciate you so much for giving me the gameplay. Much love as always. Again, your Ayaka looks fantastic, and I can't even wait to see what the heck your Yuimiya looks like. But I'll try to give you a run for your money on that one, because I'm also building Yuimiya. At least I'm hoping to at least get one. Oh, God in heaven. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you guys do enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you once again for putting up with me. And also, again, just want to reiterate, I do not think that Ayaka is weak by any means at the base level. I just feel like when I see her gameplay, it doesn't ignite any sort of spark in my mind that makes me think, I need to play her, I need to think, and she's so fun. I do think her personality gets me there pretty close, because she just seems like a delight. But I digress. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Hopefully you guys do enjoy the rest of your day, and goodbye.